Jerry, I'm so happy to be back with you. It's been a while. I can't believe how long it's actually feels like it's been. How have you been doing?
I am doing awesome. So is this the inaugural first
It is.
show of Sarah Unplugged?
It is. There was only one person that could do the show with me. It had to be you. I miss you so much.
I
Obviously,
miss you too.
I know how busy you've been. I've been busy, so we
Yeah.
haven't really been able to touch base too much. Once a text here and there, but I see you're doing big things, and been seeing you out there. And we just kind of talked about it. You're looking mighty slim there. You're looking great.
I have to say you inspired me.
Ah,
Yeah, I mean it's been great. I mean I mean what more do you want to do as a content creator than to give yourself another job on top of the job you already have, right?
right.
Especially a
Exactly.
job that we're getting so rich from all this. We're out buying cars and whatever we want to buy. But no, I mean it's been great. I mean, obviously miss doing the Line to Gain show. Things John and I and Joe, John and I go way back. Obviously, there were some things we wanted to do and in content creation, and we decided to run with it.
Right.
Since SB Nation and Vox Media decided to give us all that little push out the door, so to speak.
Right.
So, but it's been good. I mean, the off season was good. It is different doing something every week, even in the off season. It's a challenge, but it's been fun, and I've been excited to see what you're getting ready to put out there. I'm excited to hear kind of what the content and what you're going to be
Yeah.
doing every week.
Yeah, and I'll get to it a little bit more at the end and everything, but I'm going to be writing a lot more this year, so that's one thing that I'm excited about, is to kind of test my talents in that
Right, right.
realm. But also just a lot more video content, game day. I'm going to still drop the game day fit. I know that you expect to see that tailgate stuff. I have a ton of connections with different tailgates that I'll be, going at home and away, and just also all of my friendships throughout the years, and a lot of the Bills Mafia that people really know and love, and that the super fans that they've gotten to talk to
Right.
or heard about, that maybe that they would like to know a little bit more about. So I'm going to be doing some of those interviews and talking to people throughout the season. And there's a couple people that have a longer game streak than I have going, and I can't wait to touch base with them and talk about that as well.
I think the next step, Sarah, is you got to take a GoPro with you. I mean,
Yeah.
you hit some awesome spots everywhere you go. I think GoPro would be like a little
Yeah.
GoPro segment would be pretty cool.
So I actually was talking to a producer today, and he was like, "You need to have this and this, and walk around with a microphone." I was like, "Who's gonna edit all of this as I'm going into
Well,
the game?"
you will, because obviously you don't have anything to do, right?
I
You
have
don't have a
nothing else to
job. I
do.
mean, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
'cause especially on game day, I have nothing else to do other than wanting to edit video. No, so I'll figure it out. I think that if some of it might be a little bit more raw, but taken with my camera, just on my phone, but
Right.
it'll still be in that moment, and seeing everybody tailgate and have fun. And so you'll see a lot of that stuff. I am still going to do my podcasts. I you just asked me what day and time I'm going to be, and that was the one thing that I was so excited about this year, is because I travel so much. I am not setting a date and time, so
Good for
everybody
you.
better just pay attention, and it'll drop when it drops. If I can get somebody on the show on a special night, it'll definitely be on that night. So I'm excited to not have that pressure with me traveling, that I have to be sitting down at a specific time, so it'll be
No,
good.
it's so smart. I mean, I think that's awesome. And hey, whenever you need somebody on, if you need somebody
Love
just
it.
to come in and just hit me up. I'm always
All
willing to
right.
come
Well,
on, and I'm
let's
excited to
let's
be on
get
the
to
mic.
it. I know you have your show coming up, so
Yeah.
I have a question for you. The Buffalo Bills. How are you feeling heading into this season?
Well, I'm wearing this guy's jersey, which actually is a lot looser than it was last time I put it on. Um, I'm wearing this guy's jersey, and I truly believe, and we've talked about it many, many times before, Sarah, we've been on, and it's that old saying, as long as 17's taking snaps, I think the Bills have a chance, right? I think that Buffalo's definitely in a soft rebuild. I think there's an incredibly important youth movement going on. As much as I hate to, as much as I miss Mitch Morse, as much as I miss Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, it was time. I mean, when you played the game and you've been around it and you've been in the middle of it, you understand that at some point, especially north of 30, your time at certain places, especially when the money starts getting a little bit too high, you might be asked to leave, and it
Yeah.
sucks. It sucks for the fans, but it's part of the process. And I think the Bills are in a very important process of a soft rebuild, getting younger. I mean, the vibe out of One Bills Drive right now, Sarah, is crazy. I think the vibe is loose. There's a lot of energy, and I like where they are in that aspect. I am a little nerved up about a few position groups. I'm not going to lie. But I also, again, like I stated at first, confident because Josh Allen's our quarterback.
Right. Yeah, and I had texted you earlier, kind of where do you feel, like what doesn't concern you about the specific position groups and what does. So like on offense, what is your biggest pro and your biggest con?
Well, I think offensively, it's the same thing that everybody is worried about, and that's our wide receiver group. And I think there's an incredible amount of talent in that wide receiver room. I just don't know if they've had the time yet with the limited preseason play and the way that the NFL goes about things now to really have that chance to gel with Josh.
Right.
I think that, 3 preseason games, while, yeah, that's great. I don't think, Josh threw 3 passes
Yeah, I
this
was gonna
season.
say Josh didn't even play in two of them.
Right.
So
He threw 3
with the
passes. So,
weather.
right. How do you get Sarah, how do you build a relationship? I'll be honest with you. It's kind of like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. I mean, yeah, they're going out, but when the hell do they see one another, right? So that's going to be hard. So offensively, be the wide receivers, and they're
You
maturing as a group.
understand that's going to be a reel, right? I'm going to have to clip that just because you said Taylor Swift's name.
I almost wore my Taylor version NFL shirt today
There
just
we
because I'm
go.
so
It's
excited she's going to be at the
it's
game
going to
tonight.
go viral just because you said her name.
I'm
Um,
not I'm not like everybody else. I got no problem with the girl, but it might also be too that we were born like literally 30 minutes from one another in the same state, but that's
oh,
besides the
okay.
point.
I didn't know that.
Defensively, I'm worried about safeties, obviously. Safety room, losing Poyer, losing Hyde, tremendous leaders, but also tremendous production, especially coming up and supporting in the run game. And then I'm also a little bit worried about our linebacker depth. As
Yeah.
well. I think the defensive line will take care of itself over time. But I think Bobby Babbage Jr. will run a lot more pressure packages with those linebackers and corners. I think you'll see us get a lot of sacks because of those pressure packages. But I'm not so like hung up on the defensive ends, but linebacker depth and just the inexperience in the safety room have me a little bit concerned.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Matt Milano going down again this offseason, I think has not only been a heartbreak, but it's also kind of raised that question, do
Right.
we have the depth there? I was just talking about how I felt about our depth, and I wasn't even sure we really had starters at safety. And I hope DeMar Hamlin goes out and has a
Right.
great game. Um, we were all calling for him to not be on the team, and now he's starting. So
Right.
it'll be interesting on defense. But as you kind of raised up at the beginning, with number 17 at the realm,
Right.
all I kind of care about is whether or not he can keep us in the game.
Right.
Keep the score there. And at the end, hopefully it's in his hands in order to win it. There's been a lot of going ons about Tyler Bass. Do you have any, negative, feelings towards how he's been kicking? Now, in the off season during games, he, I think, missed one kick. In practice and when they did training camp, he was like 81%, 82%, which is lower than what he's normally,
Right.
but still a little bit higher than he was towards the end of last season. So how are you feeling? Are you still okay leaving the game in Tyler Bass's hands?
I think that all kickers go through ups and downs. I think all kickers are just like anybody else that plays a position in football. They have ebbs and flows, and even the great ones have times where they struggle a little bit. I brought this up on the show a few weeks ago, and Northern Dutch, our friend, has on
Mhm.
Twitter, has actually picked this up and run with it. Um, being from Philadelphia, I've witnessed some of the most vile, um, just negative sports fandom that you can
Yeah.
see. I mean, that's just what they do, right? They signed Trey Turner on the Phillies last year. Turner was going through the worst slump of his career, was barely batting over 150, let alone 200, was in a tremendous slump, no production. And Philadelphia fan did something different than they always do. Usually, Philadelphia fan will boo a person out of town, blow them up, WIP, sports radio, the whole shebang. They went the opposite. They went and got billboards, put supportive messages about Trey Turner on billboards, and actually, when he came up to bat at home, gave him a standing ovation every at bat to show him their support. Because here's the deal: the money they were paying him and knowing what type of player he wasn't going to go anywhere. Same thing as Bass, $7 million in dead cap money. He's not going anywhere. So you can hem and haw and grinch and moan all you want. He's
Right.
our kicker. So why don't we go ahead and support the guy and show that
Agree.
we love him, as opposed to the other side of it, which is just continually batter him because we got to find something to beat on.
Right.
I think that's the key, man. If they show support and the guy shows that he's got a lot of love out there, you never know what might happen, man. It's a
Yeah,
love movement.
looking at Tyler Bass for me, it just kicking period. Every position really out on the field, it's a team game, but the kicking game tends to not be. It's pretty
Right.
much the snap, the hold, the kick. So those are the ones that have all that pressure on them. I don't think the negativity helps him at all. It's one of those positions, in my opinion, that you can definitely get in your head. So I don't know if he's on social media. I don't know if he's seen all the negativity. I hope not, because I really don't want the first, game him going
Right.
out there and doing something, terrible. My biggest concern isn't with him. And I wrote an article and I was talking about it. My biggest concern is whether or not Sean McDermott's going to change his decision making based on the struggles that Tyler Bass has shown.
That makes
That's
sense.
the only thing that kind of really concerns me. Like, do we not go for something on fourth down
Right.
because he has confidence in Tyler Bass, or do we go for it on 4th and 9 when we really shouldn't be because he doesn't have the confidence? So
No,
um,
that's a great point, Sarah. I never even thought of that. I think that's a wonderful, thinking on that whole thing. McDermott, because McDermott has shown that he will go for it on fourth downs because he does have quite a bit of analytics
yeah,
that he goes to. So no, I think that would be something to be concerned about. But I think Bass will be fine. I think it's just part of being a player, and sometimes you
right.
have ups, sometimes you have downs.
All right. Well, heading into tonight, we have our first game coming up in just about 45 minutes. I love this. To me, this is one of those national holidays. It's
Oh, no
football,
doubt.
football starting. They all joked about it today at work. I was actually in the office, and everyone seemed to wear their own teams today, and we all kind of joked about how in America it really is. Football day should be considered a holiday. How do you feel going into the season when you look at the whole, NFC and the AFC as a whole? Do you have any surprises that you think are going to happen this year? And then I'm going to get your take. I know how much you love giving predictions of who's going to head out of the AFC and the NFC.
I do have a couple of teams. I got one from the AFC and one from the NFC, and I'll go with my AFC team first. And I think people might be surprised when I say this, but I really like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I really
Okay.
do. I think that Jacksonville has they're rugged. I think that they've got a good offensive line now in front of Trevor Lawrence. They got Trevor Lawrence wrapped up. He doesn't have to worry about, is he going to get that contract? Is he not going to get that contract? I like their running game. Defensively, they absolutely get after the quarterback. They've got speed everywhere. If they have a question mark, it's in the secondary. Okay. It's in the secondary. I think that, you know, I'm not going to freak out if they get smoked by Miami this week, because Miami is a matchup problem for them with
Right.
their secondary against those receivers. But I have utmost confidence in Doug Pederson, their head football coach. I like Jacksonville in the AFC as a possible spoiler team.
I'm surprised. I really am. And just because I don't even have them making the playoffs.
Right. And but you look at the division they play in, it's a very weak division, right? Not a division. I don't think it's a great division. So I think that that'll help them as well. The other team I have in the NFC is the LA Rams.
Okay.
I think that Los Angeles has absolute weapons everywhere. You know, the only thing that people want to talk about right now is Aaron Donald's not playing. He's retired.
Right.
Aaron Donald over the last couple 3 years really wasn't Aaron Donald of old anyway. I think they'll do just enough defensively, but if you can stop the LA Rams on offense, have at it. Then you deserve to win because they've got just absolute freaks everywhere. I really like their head coach McVay. I think LA could make some noise in the NFC. So those are probably my two surprise teams.
All right. So we know how much you love that prediction time. How do you feel? Who do you feel is going to be representing the AFC, and who do you feel is going to be representing the NFC?
Well, you know me, and I'm a big pro wrestling fan, and I always quote the great Ric Flair. And I always say, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? And until somebody beats the man, I want to continue to pick them, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Right. They have the one player at quarterback that's better than our quarterback, and that's Patrick Mahomes. I will be interested to see how they are on offense. I'm not sold on Xavier Worthy. I think Travis Kelce's starting to get long in the tooth. They're going to have to start maybe watching him and, the LeBron term, game management with right. Kelce to make sure he's healthy all the way through 17 games in the playoffs. But I think their offensive line's good. I think they do run the football, but I think their defense is so underrated. They get Chris Jones re-signed this offseason. They did lose some secondary guys, but they brought some other guys in. I like the Chiefs in the AFC. Until somebody beats them, I'm going to pick them. And then I think it's a repeat of last year. I like the Niners. All their issues as far as contracts have been taken care of. Mm-hmm. The last one being Williams, who's the best tackle to me in football, not only just, pass rushing or pass pro offense or run blocking, but just physicality, just a nasty offensive lineman, a prototype guy. That's what you make when you say, give me the perfect offensive lineman. You got Williams. So I like the Niners again, and I like the Chiefs again, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it wouldn't be somebody else.
Yeah. So a lot of people been saying the Jets are going to come out of the AFC. I just don't see it. I think the Jets have a good team. And to be honest with you, I actually I wrote an article today. In the AFC East, I have the Bills winning the division still, but I do have the Dolphins and the Jets both still coming out as wildcard teams as the 6th and 7th seed.
I have it the exact same way, Sarah.
Yeah. So, yep. I'm not saying that I think the Jets are going to be terrible or not, but I don't have them, running the table like people are pretty much predicting at this point. I just don't see it. To me, it'll be interesting to see how Aaron Rodgers comes back after injury at his age. But when you talk NFC, I thought it was kind of interesting that you mentioned the Rams, because I had the Rams, the Buccaneers, and one other team, and I can't think right off the top of my head. I'm putting myself on the spot. I had them all tied with the same record at 10-7. But only one of them was going to make the playoffs as a wild card, and I did have it being the Rams getting that tiebreaker. The other two obviously was the Philadelphia Eagles, as because I have the Cowboys just same record, but I have them winning the tiebreaker. So it'll be an interesting season. But and then I'm sorry, the other wild card I had was Green Bay. So because I have Detroit winning the North. So you have a couple of the divisions. In my opinion, in the NFC, you have one division that's not as strong, which is the NFC South. And then to me, in the AFC, kind of the same thing, which is the AFC West, which is weird because that's, where Kansas City is. We have the one team, and then the rest are just okay in those divisions. But I went through the whole schedule, and I did every single game, and one of the I made you do that last year as well, because to me, you can sit here and say, I think, the Bills
Right.
are going to go 12-5 or 13-4 until you sit there and you look at every single game. Like, well, can they beat,
Right.
5 or 6 teams that they play that are really good? But you do the same thing for, the 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles and all these teams that are really good. You have to kind of look up because they play each other sometimes. So one of
Right.
them's going to lose against the other at one
Right.
point or another. So I really enjoyed doing that this year. And I kind of had a couple surprises. I had a couple of teams that don't even win 3 games. New England Patriots, sorry. Um, so we'll see how it all, pans out. I am going to fangirl a little bit because I feel like Josh doesn't have that pressure this year. So I feel
Hmm.
like as much because of the way the off season has unfolded. I think he's going to find a way to make it through this season. I you know kind of think he'll be MVP caliber because he doesn't have the weapons. So I think that at the end of the season, if he still has the same numbers that he's putting up in production that he has in years past, I look to him as MVP and the Buffalo Bills representing in the AFC. Now, if there's, any injuries or anything else, I don't think the Bills can handle much of any of that. So it won't take much to knock that prediction away.
Well, you make a good point because when I think about Josh Allen and MVP, even if the Bills don't make the Super Bowl, if the Bills want to be where everybody wants them to be or expects them to be as a franchise, Josh is going to have to put up numbers that put him in the MVP talk. That's just the way it goes. I'm nerved up at the fact that we play 3 preseason games. We talked about it earlier. He's thrown 3 passes in the preseason with a room full of receivers that he's only thrown 1 pass to 1 player, and that's Shakir. Obviously, I think a big person that's going to emerge this year is Dalton Kincaid.
Right.
I think that he's a guy that Josh will really, really rely on a lot of plays. But I just think that for him, for that franchise and that team to be where they want to be, Josh has to have that type of season. But I
Agreed.
think we know that anyway. I mean, if Josh wasn't to play, if something happened, God forbid, and he was not able to play the season,
Knock on wood.
right, you're looking at what? You're looking at a 500 team,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe. Because I don't, yeah.
So the only guy that I look at on this Bills roster that's unreplaceable, other than Josh Allen, is Terrell Bernard. And we talk about Matt Milano being out. Guys, we went to the playoffs last year without Matt Milano. We know how to
Right.
play without Matt Milano. And I'm not saying that we want to play without him, but we've done that already, and we've proven we can do that. We can't play without Terrell Bernard right now. And if you lose the guy that wears the green dot on his helmet, all of a
Yep.
sudden that defense is in peril. He
Mhm.
does that much for it and brings that much calmness and leadership to that side of the ball. So I've always felt that as much as Milano is just a game changer and a splash playmaker and all those different things, Bernard is in the same category as Josh Allen, in that those are the 2 guys that I see on that roster that we
And the
cannot
2
lose.
captains and only
Right,
captains.
right,
So I
exactly.
kind of like that they did that. They, only did the 2 captains, 1 on each. Um, but yeah, so
By the way,
I'm
I
gonna
will say this. I don't mean to cut you off. I'm
no, you
sorry. I'm just looking at the comments, and I'm glad things have not changed. Jay Spence's love affair with Jordan Poyer is still strong. I see that's still growing strong. And
can.
even though he didn't say his name, I know what he meant with his comment. And I just wanted to make that point that Jay Spence, I see you, dog. I hear you, man. I know where you're coming from. Here,
But I'm going to give everybody the Super Bowl they want. I'm going to give everybody the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. I
oh
really
wow,
honestly think. I really honestly think that that's
Lions to me on
what people
defense.
want. Huh?
Mm, Lions on defense are just too many question marks. They're pretty rebuilt.
You think so? I
Yeah.
mean, in the secondary it's a little bit, but I feel like they're young and I don't know. I
No,
really like
I don't
I,
think you're wrong. I'm not
yeah.
saying you're wrong, Sarah.
I
I'm not
love the
saying you're wrong.
coaching staff. And I think it's one of those things that everyone really deserves to see.
Right.
those two teams.
Right, but I'm
But
not saying you're wrong. I like Detroit too. I think
yeah.
Campbell's great, but I don't know, man. It's just
Yeah,
one
I
of
mean,
those.
I have it coming down to them in San Fran. I'm pretty high up on Philadelphia and Green Bay,
But
but
see,
not as high up as some people are.
you know me. I'm a Philly fan. I grew up in Philly, right? And I didn't even pick the Eagles. I just think Sirianni's just
Yeah, and
he's
that's
a
it,
little
and
bit
that's
off,
why I picked
man.
Dallas to edge them out
Right,
in the division.
right.
But all right, so tell everybody what you got going on, where to follow you. Obviously, what network you're a part of now.
I'm
Everyone
sorry.
that's listening online, he's laughing now because he's going through the comments.
I'm laughing at Jay Spence, man. He said he's gonna put out a diss track on me. Jay
Yeah,
Spence, man, I'll handle you like freaking Kendrick Lamar handled freaking Drake. You
yeah.
don't want
Jay
none of
Spence
this.
put
You
he
don't want
ignored
none of
my
this smoke.
compliments. He
You don't want
put
none of
he ignored my compliments and wants to debate me, and then he put I'm gonna drop a diss track
this.
next code of conduct.
I told you,
So
you don't want none of this smoke, man. I ain't freaking Drake. I'm Kendrick. No, seriously. So you can catch us on. We got shows on. We got Off Tackle with John Fino on Monday night, On the Beat on Tuesday night, where we interview a local beat reporter covers the Bills. My man Jay Spence the King, my dog. That's why I pick on you, man, because I love you. Um, they do Hump Day on Wednesday night, him and Joe. Then I got the Big O show on Thursday coming up here in a little bit. Fridays, if these walls could talk, a couple of guys that worked for the Bills at One Bills Drive in the old days. They tell a lot of nostalgia. They do a lot of nostalgic type stuff, and it's really cool. And then we'll have our overreaction post game show whenever the Bills play. So you can also check us at overreactionbuffalo.com. And you can also catch me on Twitter. That's my Twitter address. And then I sound like I sound like a dork doing this. I feel like I'm just
no, you got to
self-mocking
promote
myself.
yourself, especially now that you
I
guys have the
know, I
network.
know, I know. And then we're on Instagram at Ostroski, Oski Big O, Oski Big O on Instagram too. So check us and hopefully we'll see you.
All right. Well, I was going to tell you that I was going to let you go and I was going to talk about what I was doing, but I kind of talked about it all at the beginning. So, kind of just reiterate, I am still writing for Buffalo Rumblings. Now I'm writing more.
See, I
Um,
couldn't write. See, I always had people write my papers for me, so I didn't. So the only way I could write for Rumblings is if I like got one of those AI deals and just had AI write my stuff for me.
that's terrible. Yeah,
But no,
It doesn't work because it's all like when you try to do the whole AI stuff, it's like past, it's like 2 years ago and stuff. It's nothing
oh
current, so
really?
you can't really, it doesn't really work well.
Hmm.
But for those that have been following me and that do follow me on Twitter at Sara_Larson, please follow me. There is a lot that's been going on. We kind of started back up. Um, we call it now just the Rumblings Network. We have all the support in the world from Buffalo Rumblings, but we left it just Rumbling Network because eventually we want to be able to grow and expand and hopefully bring in other teams to the fold. But right now we're kind of really focusing on Buffalo, and we have a couple of shows that are going to be doing different things, and whether it's entertainment, travel, politics, whatever.
Politics,
But
leave me out of that one. I'm
hey,
not doing that stuff.
it's
No
controversial. It gets a
politics.
lot of
But
listens.
I will say this: I did take your lead last week. So my son Owen, of course, is playing at Tulsa, and they started their season last week with a big win at home against Northwestern State, which is a 1AA in Louisiana. They play at Arkansas State Saturday night. But I did put up a picture of me.
I saw you had a game day fit.
Yes, it said game one fit, game day one fit. Exactly. You
I saw
inspired
it.
me.
I was
So
like, oh, Jerry.
whenever you think like you never influenced me or inspired me, that's what inspired me multiple ways, man. This whole journey into health, game day fits. I mean, come on,
So
man. Next thing you know,
we talked about it a little bit at the
next thing I'll be
beginning.
wearing like big ass round sunglasses pretty soon.
Yeah, no, the sunglasses are my thing.
And a big hoop earring.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but do you want to tell everybody how much you've lost?
It's above the century line, I'll say that.
That's awesome. So I told Jerry that he's trying to compete with me because most of you, especially if you follow me, know that I lost about 112 pounds. So he's trying to do me dirty and up the ante a little bit. So
I know. It's been fun though. I appreciate you having me on. I'm a sucker for the hoop earrings. I don't know. It just
Yeah.
reminds me of home
They're
back when I was a
the
kid.
the earrings and the glasses, they're me and
Yes,
always will be.
yes.
Yep.
It reminds me of Philly, man. It reminds me of being back home. So I appreciate the
All
invite.
right.
And like I said, I always got a spot for you if you need somebody to fill in. Just let me know. I'm
I
always here.
appreciate you. Everyone, please like, please subscribe. Obviously we started brand new. So the Rumblings Network is brand new for everything. So we need all of your likes, we need all of your support. Tune in on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all of that. Please subscribe and like. And pretty soon, probably within the next couple of days, I'm going to put out a link tree with all of our shows from the whole network. So go in, make sure you go into each show and subscribe so you guys all know when they're gonna go live or when they're dropping. And as always, thank you for joining me, especially on my inaugural episode. Look for stuff this weekend, guys. I'll be tweeting like crazy and videos and everything else. So I appreciate you and go Bills.
Much love. Go Bills.
Go Bills. All right. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.